right, guys, I have some bad news. All the people that I thought were going to come on tonight bailed on us. So I know I promised trivia. I know I promised. So we're going to have it.
You actually played that one off pretty well.
Yeah, you didn't even warn ahead of time. I just saw my face on screen. I'm like, all right, I guess I got to go with this bit.
That was good. That was good.
All right. So here's the deal. How many people we? All right. So we haven't played trivia in a long time.
An eon.
If this is your first time here for trivia, it is a very unique game. It is mainly us just making fun of each other. Me and Jason like to fight a lot. So 2 people tonight are supposed to be here. Mark at the last second bailed, and Adrian. We have no idea where the hell Adrian is. Yo, Adrian.
Yeah, Mark heard you were coming on, so he decided to bail.
See, this is what I mean. Jason's just going to be mean to me the whole show. For those of you who don't know, this is my friend Jason. We have Connor McHugh here.
Hello. How's
Jason,
it going?
do we say your we don't say your last name online, do we?
Not really, but whatever.
You just did.
I didn't say Jason. Jason Tradman, we'll say that. So here's what we're gonna do.
Tradman. What's Tradman?
What's that?
What is Tradman?
Wow, they haven't been Tradman in a while.
They haven't been Texcaster in a while.
Either.
We ain't been much of anything.
All right, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to offer up a spot to anyone in the audience that has a camera. Does anybody want to come on and play?
I asked Todd, but Todd's watching.
I did too. He didn't answer. Oh, he's watching a movie with his wife.
Lame, dude. Lame.
So if anybody in the chat wants to play and you have a camera set up and you can make it, anyone besides Margot abandoned us for her Daily Wire crowd. All right, but if nobody does, we can do this just us. All right, so
the audience is it like old school where the audience is also playing along?
Yeah, so here's the deal. Okay, so let's explain the rules to everybody. Okay, so everybody in the chat, here's the deal. We are going to read a question. These guys on screen, they have a buzzer system. So they go into private chat and they have a buzzer system. So
that
whichever one of
way
them,
more legit than it is.
Well, it's as legit as we can make it. So it's Scout's honor on them if they want to cheat or not and see the chat. But so we read the question, then everybody in the audience actually has to play along. The first 3 to get the correct answer will get a point. Rob is going to keep score, and whoever gets the most correct will win. And we always abide by those rules. Whoever gets the correct score wins. You guys will get a choice between an Avoiding Babylon shirt. You can get one of our shirts that say, have you accepted Mary as your personal mother and intercessor? Or we have, I'm religious but not spiritual. We got a bunch of shirts you can choose from. You will get a shirt, and that's how we're going to go with it.
You are so full of it. For the people that are new, just because you get the high score doesn't mean you're going to win.
Don't ruin the bit. Yes, you're going to get actual prizes. And let's see. All right, we got about 120 people on YouTube.
This game can be kind of like elections. I'm just saying.
Kyle, you didn't get the prize? Yes.
Kind of.
A little rigged. I thought I sent you out a book. Maybe not.
Do we want me to watch the or to make tallies of the chats answer?
You have to play along, Nick. We don't have enough people play. It can't just be Jason versus Connor. We need to
yeah,
but if Nick plays, Nick wins.
Answer on YouTube, because that's where we'll be watching the chat. The other rule is if you put a funny answer in over a correct answer, you get a point. Like if you make us laugh, you get a point. That's pretty much how we do it.
Joe wants to know if we'll send something to Australia, and for you, Joe, we will.
I would. Yeah, there's not much I wouldn't do for Joe Diodati. All right, and also we'll go with this. I hate trivia, so
which is why it's been 18 months.
If we do get a lot of super chats, if you guys are having fun, we'll do it again. Like I'll only do this. Who is this?
This is the infamous Tobias from the first.
No way!
Yeah. That's right. One in the chat all the time.
Oh man!
I'm so happy he's here because that gives me an excuse not to play.
No, Nick.
Nick, you still have to play.
You got to play, Nick. Come on.
I should keep tabs on the chat. Be a good guy because
No.
I always win. I've won like 4 of these things in a row. It's not fair.
Jason, you
I
see
know,
what
but
he's
if you
saying,
win,
right?
nobody
No,
has to
I know
feel
what he's
bad about
saying,
losing.
but I think if we play the tape back, we'll see that I've won quite a few, even with Nick on.
Here's the thing. Rob's keeping score, and then me and Rob got the chat. There's one thing I can handle is the chat when we do trivia. So,
No,
That's the only thing he can do.
we're
do
gonna
not
have
use our
Nick
money
compete.
to super chat. Anthony will get half of it. Well, YouTube gets a third, and Anthony gets a half. I'm not
send it
paying
over,
YouTube
Hope.
or
Put the
Anthony.
paycheck in, Hope. Put his paycheck in.
So a lot of people are wondering why we're still yapping and we're not actually playing yet. We're
This
just letting
is
the audience.
trivia.
We're just letting the audience build because I want this to be as difficult as possible for Rob. I want there to be 300 people in the live chat. Kyle is trying to get trivia on permanently. Trivia night may be valid, but it's illicit without discount trivia. Kyle, I don't know why we didn't ask Kyle.
Yeah, I don't know
I
why
told
you didn't
you
ask
to.
Kyle.
Yeah, Jason, you told me to. Nick is very humble and is right. All right, are we all ready? All right, so we have to explain the rules to Sam. Sam, you're going to go on your right of your screen. You'll see it says private chat.
All right.
Okay, so everybody, you guys, all the contestants, switch over to private chat. Show Sam how the private chat works. Whoever gets, if I read the question and you know the answer, you're just going to throw your initial in there. You don't have to put your name, just your initial, and you hit send. And I'm leaving it on Nick to say which one of you got in there first.
Hey, I'll take that job.
Brandon is a champion at trivia. I mean, it was Brandon.
He
Who
always
else
is
was
good. Yeah.
Who else was really
I
good in the
won
chat?
like 4 games in a row, and then Brandon was the first one to compete. Really,
And that's
But I'm saying
impressive.
in the chat, it was always Kyle, Brandon, and who else was always really good in the chat? Man,
Sam.
it's been so
Tobias,
long. I
Sam.
feel awful. All right.
Part
So
of the reason I'm coming on this way, that way I can't screw it up in the chat.
yeah, but the chat, like I said, the chat, even if you don't know the answer, if you get a good line in, you'll get a point. So
Hope just admitted she doesn't watch Avoiding Babylon at all,
never.
Or she doesn't.
except for trivia.
She heard about this. She's like, I might actually have to watch.
She'll usually like a third of the way through the show come and dump me off on Rob. I feel like I'm done. Take the baby.
That's funny.
All right, so here we go. We're going to start with question 1. Listen, the questions start off easy. They get a little more difficult as the game goes on. So
And there's
everybody in
no
the chat,
guarantee that we have the right answers.
that is true. We've had a
That's
few
true,
wrong
too.
answers. Wait another 10 minutes. I'm still driving home. All right, a few minutes.
Hey, they paid you $20.
She
That
paid
might
20
work.
bucks for that.
Anthony, you do have all the stories. Remember
Oh man, that's right. All
from
right,
the weekend?
So I went and visited my parents this weekend. My dad's got a house up in PA. And anyone else shedding a tear?
Does anyone remember the Anthony family story drinking game?
Oh, anytime
When
I
he
say
broke
Eddie,
his finger?
cousin Eddie.
Eddie or Joey or Frankie or Mikey or
Listen, let me tell you something. I was good at hosting this stupid show. That's one thing I was good at. I was good at hosting this dumb show. For a lot of people that are new and don't know, this is kind of how this channel started, right? So the way Rob and I met is because
he didn't do the opening song.
Oh,
R.I.P.
Oh,
no!
hold on. We got it. We're starting over.
All right, wait. Let me load one up.
Come on.
And when you're ready, just give me a thumbs up. Okay. This is abnormally bad.
I'll just get a copyright strike.
All right. Yeah, we really did blow it tonight. So we would always.
Why is your
start-
sound so bad?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's good.
Take
So
that
we-
as a grace, dude. I'll take
I had
it
a
as
little
grace.
bit of this song, and then I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
We went through all that to redo it, and none of us could hear what was playing.
How about this?
No, I can't hear anything.
No one can come to me.
Oh,
There it is.
There you go.
Unless the Father beckons. And I
Bro,
will
That's heretical. That's
raise
heretical.
you up.
Every religion leads to God now. So what are you talking about? Every religion leads to God.
I feel bad for like the newcomers. They're like, "What am I watching right now?" So we would. All right. So here's how the show, the Avoiding Babylon started because
Did Anthony go back to his first mic to make it more like back in the day?
So it was. I did a video on COVID, and then I did a funny video about advice. I did a video on the sign of Jonah. Like I was trying to find my foot in this game. Like I'm like, what do I want to do? Like I was started off like serious, then going funny, then serious, then funny. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I just kept trying to figure out where I was going to go. My cousin Eddie, drink everybody, bought me a trivia game, and I shot out on Twitter who wants to play Catholic trivia, and Rob's wife Hope volunteered Rob to play in the first episode. Now that first episode is legendary because it was Stephen Garone, who is Catholic Comedy on Twitter, and he did not know a single answer to anything. When I tell you not a single, like I was about to ask him if he knew how to make the sign of the cross. He was so bad. It was wrong answer hit the wrong answer. So Rob,
and I had spent the weekend on a long drive, and I had a Catholic trivia card game that my wife went through all the cards to help keep me awake while driving. Turns out it was the exact same card game Anthony took the questions from.
So when I tell you Rob knew every single answer, but Rob and I hit it off that episode, and I called him the next morning, and I said, "Hey, why don't you come and do this with me? Like, I need somebody to bounce things back and forth on. I've never been good at the solo camera thing. I hated pre-recording. Like, I did a video with what's his name? Oh man.
Well, you had Jeremiah on.
Jeremiah. I had
had
Flanders on. I did one-on-one interviews with those guys, but they were pre-recorded. I wasn't crazy about those. I remember my first interview with Flanders. I was sweating so bad because I was so nervous I was going to butcher the interview. I read his book. It was the first time I met Tim Flanders. I was watching his channel all the time. I was like, oh man, I'm meeting like a Catholic commentator right now. Like I was nervous. Might have far. So Rob and I hit it off, and we started the channel, and our flagship show was Catholic Trivia. We did it every Tuesday night, and then on Thursday nights we would switch it up and started doing some other stuff. We eventually wound up liking the other stuff so much, and I kind of got sick of planning the trivia games because it's not easy to come up with questions, and we kind of shelved it for a while. We hit 500 subs on locals this week, and we said, well, Rob promised we would do trivia if we hit 500 subs on locals. So we are now going to do Catholic trivia. We got everybody here. I want you guys to switch over to the private chat, and we are going to get into this. Like I said, if you guys do super chat this show, if you are having fun, we will do this again.
I think I caught you guys like on your third episode of trivia.
Yeah, third or fourth.
On like the third or fourth, yeah.
Well, Jason, you and I met through Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And then I had you come on the show, right?
Well, no, we met through Twitter over women drivers,
Yes.
and then I made
suicide. It was the suicide tweet, right?
Well,
no, that was live on air. Jason goes, Anthony, if I'm letting my wife drive and we get in an accident and die, can I have a Catholic burial? And I said no, because that's a suicide.
Yeah, and I also asked if women saints would have driven in today's world.
Absolutely not.
And you're like, no, but no, yeah. So I made those comments, and I think you asked me after that if I wanted to come on, and yeah.
So that's the history, and then we met Connor, and then we had we just this is what it's become. So, all right, we're going to start the game now. We got, what are we, 15 minutes in? That's usually what we would always do, 15 minutes of banter and nonsense, and then we start the game. We got about 290 people watching live right now. If you're watching on X, I would suggest you go over to YouTube because I don't know if your comments are going to come through on X. If you want to play the game, come over to YouTube. That's your best bet. Okay, question number 1. Are you guys all in private?
Yeah.
You guys are all in private. Yep. Okay. Question number 1 is a very simple one. Who are the men in colorful costumes that have been responsible for the personal safety of the Pope since 1506?
Ooh,
you guys stay in private chat, and we're going to see.
Oh, Sam beat me.
Who gets the first answer correct? I see Timothy got it.
So Nick isn't playing.
No, I'm keeping score with you guys and seeing.
You're not playing, Nick?
See, no, you're supposed to be playing.
Nick, you're supposed to play.
Nick, I'm gonna need you to give me your address because I'm gonna send you one of my daughter's posters I got her years ago. It's Angry Cat, and it said I had fun once and it was horrible. I'm gonna hold it up and I'm gonna send it to you.
Come on, Nick, you have to play. Come on, don't let your pride get in the way if you lose to Jason.
You ain't gonna lose to me,
dude. If I lost to Jason, I'd never forgive myself. If you all over.
Well, I guess he still hasn't forgiven himself.
All right, so.
But you know what? You know what though? You do need to watch Rob and Connor because they have been known to cheat the score before.
You know what? I'm not taking this. No.
You know, it's to be fair, I should be the official poll watcher of this show because to be honest, yeah, cheating is.
I hope Rob picked the questions so that nobody gets any right. That is a throwback to Rob planning a game that I played in.
Anthony let me pick the questions once.
And it went horribly wrong. All right, so which one of you guys got in first?
Sam.
What you got, Sam?
Do we have to say what is like Jeopardy?
No, just throw it out.
All right, the Swiss Guards.
We got Sam on the board. Rob, you got the 3 points in the chat, right?
Yes.
It's Timothy, Dave's Vault, and
my wife actually had a funny one.
I just heard colorful.
If somebody would have answered the Pope splainers, that would have been a hilarious win.
Hope,
that
I'm
would
sorry.
have been a good point. Hope you get a point.
You've already gotten all the shirts.
She still gets a point.
Hey, I've worn my Hombre shirt here not too long ago. I don't think anybody gets it in public though.
Your Harambe?
Harambe, yeah.
The way
he
you
said Hombre. I thought he was
talking. I know. I'm like Hombre. Like he's a bad Hombre.
I thought we were past the mispronunciations. Okay.
Okay.
No, we're not.
All right. Question number 2. No. What is the name of the large colored vestment the priest wears at Mass? Another easy one.
Ooh, quick answers.
My Church of Christ knowledge doesn't help here.
Nick's still not playing.
Come on, Nick.
Maybe he's still thinking.
I'll be honest. I am like the least competitive person in the world, and that just applies to games. So I'm like, yeah, let me just be the moderator, the poll watcher.
All right.
That's why I want you to play so badly.
See, this is why we need funny lines in the chat because we play.
But women are not funny.
It's true. That is true.
You have said that.
All right. Which one of you guys got in there?
Sam.
That'd be me.
Holy cow, Sam.
Sam is flying.
All right, go ahead.
It's the Chasuble.
That is correct. Sam's got 2 points. Rob, you got the chat, right?
Yes.
Only accepting autocorrect answers. I made a funny joke about autocorrect today. Nobody seemed to get that it was a joke. They actually thought I was being serious. All right. Number 3, question 3. Which is the longest of the 4 gospels? A little trickier.
Ooh, I'm glad that we got a first answer.
Little trickier. Which is the longest of the 4 gospels? I like Bible questions. I love seeing Jason get stumped on Bible questions. I mean, it's a 1 in 4 choice, A, B, C, or D. Somebody should get it, right? All right, we got plenty in the chat. Which one you guys got in?
Jason.
It was me, but I don't know if I know it actually. I know what it's not. I'm gonna say, trying to count the chapters. I think it's. Are you talking about longest chapter wise?
Yeah.
Is it Luke?
Oh, that's easy.
It is not.
Don't forget about negative
Jason's
points.
-1. Jason's
Oh, I forgot
negative
about
1.
negative points.
I know what it's not. It's not Mark, the shortest gospel.
No, Mark's the
obviously.
shortest.
It was between Mark and it's between Luke and one other. But
Runner up is Connor. Connor is
Connor, what you got?
50%.
John.
No.
Dang, I knew this one.
Are you guys kidding me? All right, Sam.
I was-
Process of elimination.
Is it Matthew?
going back and forth
It is
between
Matthew.
Luke and Matthew. And I was trying to count the chapters in my head, and I was like,
Oh
Nick,
man,
Nick,
Jason,
Nick,
you are
Can you keep
losing-
track of the
Dang.
score for the
Yeah.
guys on screen?
yeah, I can do
You are
that.
losing all credibility and bragging rights tonight, Jason. This is
That's fine.
terrible.
that's fine. I'm
Everybody
rusty.
wants Nicholas to play, man. I don't know.
know-
Is the Talmud. The Talmud.
Or if we count all the exceptions, I would
The
imagine
Talmud.
Protestant gospel is the longest.
That's
The
hilarious.
ghost of Aunt Jemima.
So many people are like, okay, I guess it's Matthew.
Did you ask Darren to come in?
You know what?
'Cause
I
he used
haven't
to win
heard from
trivia a lot, too.
Darren. I haven't heard from Darren in so long. I didn't know what he was up to, but we should have reached out to him.
Because he wins a lot. I remember me and him would
That's
always.
true.
Yeah,
Battle
Darren's
pretty
good.
good.
He was
Yeah, we
good.
should have reached it. Look, if we do it again, we'll have look, if we do it again, we'll give everybody a little warning. And here's what we're gonna do. If you are a locals member and you want to come on and play the game with us, we're gonna throw it out. So I kind of miss doing this. It's a little bit fun. It's a switch up from the drama in the church. It seems like everybody likes it.
There's
After
I
you
don't- I can't
complained
tell
for
if this
20
guy
minutes
is-
in the beginning.
Oh,
Look who showed
got a
up. A
late
half
comer.
hour late. Adrian decided to come. Look at this.
there's
thought it
at
was
least
the
one person
American
here that
prop.
we know for sure is not a Freemason. That's Connor. Can't do the handshakes.
Dang.
Good
Just
one.
dang.
Adrian, it's nice to finally meet you, brother.
You don't like all the crap I give you is all it is.
I honestly, I think you're one of my greatest what would you call adversaries? I love it.
I gotta keep you
Where do
humble.
you live, Adrian? Are you the one in Alabama?
Mhm.
Okay.
Thanks for doxing people, Jason.
He didn't give his home address. Yeah, I kind of
From
miss
Texas.
Darren. I wonder what Darren's been up to. We'll have to
Well,
find out.
he probably got axe murdered by someone who got his phone number off of the show.
We did do that once.
Those
planted
were the
his phone number.
days.
That was bad.
Those were the days.
All right, Adrian, even though you just got here, you're still in second place.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
a half hour late.
That's
and
not
you're in
wrong, even.
I
No,
like
it's not.
I like Adrian's subtitle that he's got going.
Doom of a
Nick's-
body.
Nick's
Doom of
tied.
Abate.
Nick's tied for second place.
I
He
just
hasn't
love when
even
people
tried.
actually spell my name correctly. It's actually
Yeah.
great. All right, so we are going on to the next questions. The next question. Okay. Adrian, you're going to switch over to private chat.
Okay.
Switch over to private chat, and you're going to use your initial in private chat as your buzzer. Okay. So you got to stay in private chat. You're not allowed to look at the main chat because if you look at the main chat, people are shooting out the answers in there. So you stay in there. If it sounds like what an Italian grandma threatens her grandkids with.
That's funny.
So you stay in private chat. If you think you got the answer, just throw your initial up, hit return, and that'll get you in. That's your buzzer system. So question number 4. Okay. On what day do Catholics remember and pray, especially for those who have died?
Ooh.
I'm asking for a date, not the name of the feast. I'm asking for a date.
Ask the question again.
On what day do Catholics remember and pray, especially for those who have died?
Just everybody in general.
Yeah, we have a day a day of the dead, basically. We pray for the dead on this day. I mean, you should always pray for the souls in purgatory, but I'm asking for a date. And I'll tell you what, I'll even throw a bonus point in if you tell me the name of the feast. So those of you who answered, throw in the name of the feast. It's
No.
Yom Kippur, guys. There's actually a thing that corresponds in Judaism. What is the thing where it's like their Halloween? What is it?
Sam Hain.
Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah,
I think today was their Halloween with all the tricks they played.
Yeah, I mean, really, the people of the Old Covenant, man, when they want to get somebody, they'll blow
People
your
of the Old
genitals off. Like they're no joke, man.
They will
get you when
use
you're
40-year-old technology to blow your genitals off.
They sure will.
crazy.
I used to have
All
one
right.
of those.
Wait, Kyle said
Genitals?
Juneteenth.
Genitals,
We
yeah.
pray for the dead. Somebody should have said George Floyd Day. Come on, guys. We pray for the dearly departed.
Oh,
Follow
man.
the cat. All
All right. Oh, it's Purim. It's Purim. That is correct.
Oh yeah, that's
It
right.
is called Purim.
Oh.
Give St.
He's like-
Augustine a point, Rob.
Yeah.
These people are nuts.
Jewish Halloween tax day.
Oh,
We're definitely getting scrubbed from YouTube.
Trick
Oh.
and treat.
This is our ex-captain, by the way. Yeah, you guys forget even that was like I am the Pope on this show.
Who needs chutes and ladders when you have Talmuds and tunnels?
Oh.
That's
Oh.
good.
I
That's
promise
good.
you guys, you'll not find a trivia game like ours out there. I promise. So,
After this, you probably won't find our trivia game either.
No,
you'll
you
find our
probably
channels.
won't.
All right. Which one of you guys got it?
Sam
I think
again.
Sam
That
did.
was
Yeah.
me.
Damn.
So
Sam,
it's November 2nd, All Souls Day.
that is correct, man. Give him 2 points, Rob. This guy is
Dang. I got him. 2 points.
Okay,
there is
yeah.
no coming back from this guy. So we're at question. That was question 4.
Yeah, we can pretty
I have 20 questions. I have 14 or 13 listed, but then I have a backup quiz that I have. I can ask more questions. So we'll see.
Well,
see
if
how
it
this
goes past if it goes past 8, I won't be able to stay on because I got to leave at 8.
You coming up with excuses already?
No, I've got to go pick up my daughter. Dingus.
All right. Next question. Let's go. I don't want Jason to lose on a technicality here.
Oh, I'm
All right,
going to
this is a
lose.
good
Sam
one.
is killing it.
Jason, I'm telling you should know this one.
If Jason loses on a technicality, we will never hear the end of it.
Well, listen,
It's true.
Jason should know this one, but I promise you he's going to mispronounce it.
Yeah, that's all.
I promise. Listen,
Lazarus?
I'll put money
No,
on
it's
it.
not Lazarus.
Jason will know this and mispronounce it. Okay, Jason.
Does he get an
just
extra
your
point if he
finger.
says it right?
Just get your finger on
That's
the
actually a
trigger,
good
Jason.
idea. That's actually a good. You know what? Let's go.
You're doing it?
Jason,
All right,
don't-
you can do it. All right, so Jason, who climbed the tree to see Jesus?
Zacchaeus.
Come on.
Well, but guys, we gotta wait for the chat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Was
did
that a
pronounce
Jason
it
only
right,
question?
Do you know why I know
You
how to
also
say that?
didn't-
Because
You
as
also
a
didn't,
good
put in your initial.
as a good Bible believing Protestant, we had a song for that in Sunday school.
Is that why you gotta
Zacchaeus,
spell-
you come
how to
down.
say it?
By the way, I get bonus points.
Harambe. Who is in the tree? Harambe.
Was it Haram? Oh, man.
We do have a funny audience.
Hey, come
was
on. Hope, don't make me kick you out.
Bans his
Okay.
wife.
I think the problem is
Sorry, Rob.
I'm
you
worried
hit the
we're
sound.
laughing more than they are.
All right. No, I think the audience is having a fun time. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Jason got that right, and he pronounced it right. I say we give him like a +1. Put
Well, he'd
Jason a
be-
+1.
Yeah, I get
He'd be
2
plus
points.
1. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He gets 1.
Yeah,
then.
we'll give Jason a +1 there.
He didn't
Okay.
even put his initial in at first.
Yes, I did.
All right.
I put it in
know
before
that
he
was
asked the
great.
question, Connor.
That doesn't
And
count.
then look, break. Jay. Yes, it does.
All right. Listen.
Anthony
listen.
challenged me, so I took the challenge.
That is
Election
true.
night
I'm going to give it to
2020.
him. Now, Connor, if you want the next one, I'll ask you this one directly, but I don't.
No, I don't need you to do that. I'm not asking for. I'm just asking for. you not
There
to
goes
favor
Anthony being an
Jason.
ableist again.
I'm just.
All right,
I'm not
listen,
asking
listen.
you to favor anyone. Just don't
Okay, all
favor
right.
Jason.
That's fair enough. I was really hoping Jason would mispronounce Zacchaeus. So, all
But
right.
he didn't
Yeah, I
even
get
do
so
it.
much
So it's
hate.
not even worth it.
Okay, so here's the next question. You guys stay in private chat. Go with the buzzer. We got to wait for the chat. Remember that. Okay. What is the ceremonial hat of a bishop called?
I don't know.
No.
I'm a convert. We don't know those things.
Ceremonial hat.
Actually, when it comes to trivia, the name of like vestments and all the stuff like that, I don't have a clue.
Oh.
That's a yarmulke. Somebody said a yarmulke.
I could actually see how people could be confused with that one.
I
though,
don't
not
want to
gonna lie.
hit the. I don't want to hit the answer. You know. So
beanie.
somebody said beanie.
Do-rag.
We're looking
Carl
for the pointy
said a
one,
fedora.
guys. For the pointy one.
The pointy one.
Yeah. All right. So it was Tyler said yarmulke first. I think. No. It was Murray. Murray actually got that one. And give Murray a point. Give Murray a point, Rob.
Spell it right.
Giving out
too.
points for wrong answers.
And you know what? Murray spelled yarmulke right, which is a very hard word to spell. So, all right.
It
What's
says a
funny is
lot
Anthony
about
spelled
Murray.
the correct answer wrong.
I like sombrero.
I did, Rob.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, terrible me.
Did y'all
yeah,
ever
you're
watch
right.
that show? Whose line
You're
is
right.
it
I
anyway?
did. It's
Mhm.
wait. What'd you
Where
say?
the points don't matter.
Yeah, where the points don't matter. This is like whose line is it anyway when it comes to
Yeah, essentially.
trivia.
Essentially. All right. Which one of you guys got in first?
Sam again.
That was me.
Holy cow!
Why is my thing?
This game is about to be over.
It's called the miter.
It is called a miter. I gotta tell
Don't
you,
ask
Nick.
me to
It's a good
spell
thing
it,
you
though.
didn't play because you would have got destroyed. There's no
I don't think
chance
so.
you're beating Sam. Sam's gonna be the returning champ. I gotta be honest. We might
Yeah,
have to
when
get
we play
Brandon
this
on.
again in 3 years.
No, I think we're gonna keep this. I think
We'll
we're gonna keep this game.
Play it
going.
when we get to 1,000 local
Well, you
subscribers.
need
Hey,
Darren
y'all.
too.
I'll be right back.
You know, if Nick actually played, this might be a competition.
Yeah, it might have been a competition.
All right, we're waiting for Jason to come back.
He never said wait.
I mean, he's got no shot at winning. Should we just keep rolling?
Well, then he'll use that as an excuse.
Yeah, we don't want to give him any excuses. There's no way he's winning anyway. Sam's got a healthy lead.
Does that mean everyone except for Sam should leave?
Like if Sam gets 2 more points, the game's over.
Yeah, it's true.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like if you
Yeah, I
get 2
don't-
more points, the game's over.
Like mathematically.
I don't see
Nick, you could jump
any
in.
I mean, we'll finish it out, but I don't see any chance. Yeah, I think that's healthy, right?
Oh,
Sorry.
son of a.
Sorry, Rob. I think that's healthy.
What is Jason doing?
Wait, what?
Jason.
My Wi-Fi is messed up for some reason. Like, I can't hear anything y'all are saying.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
okay then.
Is Jason frozen? All right, he's back. Okay, yeah, I agree, Mr. C. Once a month is plenty. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, next question. You guys get over in the private chat. What do the letters INRI on the top of the cross stand for?
I
I
can't hear
want
you.
the Latin.
I can't hear you.
Oh, that's not good, Jason.
Hey, I'm gonna try to switch my internet here. Hang on a second.
You're not getting this one anyway, bro. There's no way you're pronouncing this.
I don't know what's going on with my internet. Oh, hang on.
You'd think he lives in a third world country instead of Houston.
Dude, Houston is a third world country.
Houston is a third world country.
It is
I am seeing
nasty.
correct answers in the chat. Did anybody? Which one of you guys clicked in?
Connor got it.
I'm
You
pretty
got
sure.
it, Connor?
Pretty sure the answer is the Shahada.
Shahada. All right, Connor, you got this one?
Yeah, Connor's the first one.
Can you not hear us, Connor?
Connor looks drunk.
I'm passing.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Oh, okay. Then Sam is up next.
Question
Like, what's going on?
or gas?
All right, so it is Jesus Nazarenus Rex Judeorum.
Holy crap, Sam. You're not going to be allowed to come back. You're not going to be allowed to come
You're
back.
too smart
That's
for
fine.
that,
Once is
Sam.
enough.
If you type the wrong vowel markers, it's invalid. Oh, wait. Did we get to the answer of? Yeah, we did. November 2nd. Yeah. Cole,
you
you are lagging way behind, Cole. Cole, you have to drag. It's gonna be 5 minutes for you. Here's you have to drag the thing forward, dude. You're like 4 questions behind right now.
He's gonna find this out in 4 minutes. Oh, brother. What's with everyone's internet tonight? Goodness gracious.
Did we lose Connor?
But you're talking
There's
about
Connor.
juice too much, and freaking YouTube is throttling everybody.
All right, next question.
Fair point.
All right, next question. Here we go. Where did Moses die?
This one, Jason, you gotta know, Jason. Come on.
Where did Moses die?
Actually, I don't know. I mean, I know where he died. I don't know the name of the. But I'm gonna guess.
What was smart of me? What did I say? Somebody, Christine said that was smart of me. I don't know what I said. Oh, hit live. Ah, yeah. Oh no, that's not what I said. I don't know what I said. Guess I said something smart. Okay, which one of you guys got it? No, wait, this is a good line. wait, I missed it. That's a good line. Ah,
What
this thing's
is
not
he
working
doing?
fast. What's this time in Gaza?
Rafa.
Which one you guys got in?
Me, but I don't actually know it. I hit it too soon. I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna guess. So I'll take negative. I guess. I'm gonna say Mount Hebron.
Incorrect.
No.
Nobody else
Sam
got
is
it?
next.
Sam is next.
Mount Tabor.
No, incorrect.
Oh.
Sam loses
Yes,
a
I
point.
don't
You guys
get
are getting
negative
back
points.
in.
Can I take a Can I take a random guess at it? Because I think I might know. If no one else is gonna guess.
Are you watching the chat though? If you're watching the chat, I saw the correct.
No. I'm not. I'm the one pushing brakes in private.
He's doing the amazing job of putting break in the private chat.
I was
as
gonna
if that's a
suggest
job.
Mount Nebo.
Rob,
Yeah.
why'd you
Hard work.
blow it?
Because this isn't the correct answer.
It's not Mount
close
Naboo.
enough.
It's
Mount
Mount
Naboo.
Mount
Just
Naboo.
remember, if everybody gets it wrong, nobody loses points. Just remember that.
Jar Jar
Well,
Binks killed
Rob
Moses.
just blew the answer, so I don't think it matters.
I don't think
Nick,
he
you
did.
did have it. You did have it, Nick.
Yeah, but nobody else chimed in except me and Sam.
No,
so.
so nobody loses points. So Jason keeps it, and
But does Sam
doesn't
keep
lose
his?
Well, no, Nick got it, so he gets a point.
He's
Nick
not
didn't get it. Did
playing,
he say that?
Connor.
He's technically playing. He's supposed to be playing. He just
Connor,
doesn't play.
he's the break man.
I am
That's
the
not a
break
thing.
man.
The
I
break
is
man
the
always
He's doing
plays.
it.
Well,
I
he
think
died
it
on
was,
Mount Break, clearly.
Mordor,
Mordor.
Compton,
Mount Doom.
Mount Doom.
Compton.
The
That's
Doom
great.
of Abate.
All right.
Sounds like a
Here's
good
the next
golf
one. All right. What pope declared himself a prisoner of the Vatican?
Which pope do we
Francis.
wish was a prisoner of the Vatican?
Which pope declared himself a prisoner?
You're really
of the
not wanting to do
Vatican?
trivia again.
This one is kind of easy, y'all. Not gonna lie.
For you.
If you know
It's
history,
the number. It's the numbers.
Wait, this is a good one. Wait a minute.
That's funny.
You know what? You know what?
No?
That's
There's-
a good line.
There's a
Come
lot of
on.
truth in jest.
That's funny.
A lot of people throwing that one up. Benedict the 16th was a prisoner of the Vatican. All right, I'm seeing correct answers in the chat. Which one of you guys got it?
So
I got it.
Connor is the first one. Yeah,
Pius the Ninth.
That is correct, Connor.
that is correct.
Good job, brother.
Redemption.
Let's go. Connor's got on the board.
On the
He
road
got,
to
he got beat
redemption.
out with a guy with no arms. He typed it way faster than I did.
Okay, question 10. Who was the first non-martyr to be made a saint, to be named a saint? Who was the first non-martyr to be named
Ooh.
a saint? I learned this in Tom Holland's book,
That's a good question, Anthony.
Oh, I love that book.
Dominion, right? That's where I learned that.
Yeah. You got me to read that book, and we talked about we were going to try to get him on the show and talk to him together. Whoever got him first, and you didn't invite me.
I probably did invite you. I don't think you came.
No, you didn't.
He probably didn't invite you, but your internet was down.
Thank you, Nick.
But my phone works.
Okay, so wait, I have to put a caveat. No, not Saint John the Evangelist or Mary. We're talking being named a martyr, right? So the Blessed
They thought
Virgin
Our
Mary,
Lady was
John
a
the
martyr?
Evangelist, they don't.
Wait.
I
Wait.
mean, in church history, the first saint to be named a saint that was not a martyr. Like we're not talking apostolic times. We're talking in church history.
I'm confused.
This should have been like 4th century.
Oh, that narrows it
Essentially,
down.
yeah.
Okay, so which one of you got in?
Sam, of course. If he gets this point, it's game over for everyone.
Should I throw it?
Yeah, no. If you got it, you got it.
Why would you throw it? Go for it.
Extend the fun. All right. St. Martin of Tours.
That is correct. Yeah, no, we'll play the whole game out.
No, that's wrong. Paul the Sixth. Nothing before Vatican II counts.
Yeah, I'm like, did I get the answer wrong in the thing? Yeah, we're getting James Martin.
James Martin.
Epstein.
Clement and Irenaeus were both martyrs, weren't they? Or Clement was, right?
Yeah,
Clement's
no,
in the Roman martyrology, isn't he?
Yeah, no, like every single pope until around like the 4th century is martyred.
mm.
He's in the Roman canon.
Yeah.
Clement.
You know,
he's a martyr.
Sam's asking if he should throw it. You know, I tell my kids all the time, I never let them beat me in anything. I'm like, the day you beat me in something, you'll know you have earned it. I will
Yeah.
never let anybody win at anything.
Yeah, I do that with my 7-year-old in boxing.
Okay, next question. In Italy, which saint is so famous she is simply known as the saint? This is a hard one.
Well, are we talking about Italy when it actually became a country, or
Yeah. What
But
actually?
in current Italy, she is
Oh.
simply known as the saint.
I have a fairly good
This
guess.
is
yes.
I don't know if this is a good question though. Because
Margot, you got to be more specific with your answer.
You're talking about
I'll-
like current
I'll take a first name
No,
because
because there's lots of saints with that first name.
I know, but
Oh,
I
really?
would have
Okay.
thought it was.
Yes.
I would have thought it was. I'm gonna.
I have
accept
not
you.
seen a correct answer yet.
I haven't either. That's why I'm gonna take because I would think it's the other one, Rob. Like honestly, I'm Italian and I would think it's the other one. I think this might be wrong. I think the first name is right, but I think
Hold on.
Did you say female saint?
huh?
You
You said
said
female
female
saint.
saint?
Yeah, it's
okay.
a female saint. She's just known as the saint
in Italy,
in Italy.
like 20th century Italy.
What's Aunt's Nona's name?
That's funny.
Oh,
would say- I would say what's-
I do see a correct answer now. Two of
Okay.
them.
All right, we got it on. All right, so we got it in there. All right, so which one of you guys are gonna guess? Because this is a hard one.
I'm
but
gonna
I'll
pass.
I'll take a
Jason-
first name.
Jason was
I'm gonna
first, but you're
pass.
passing?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna pass it. Yeah.
So Sam is up.
I'll take a stab at it. Is it Saint Francis of Rome?
No.
No. That's what I was gonna say. Saint Clare of Assisi.
No, that's a good guess though.
Okay.
That's definitely a
Dang.
good guess.
Mother Cabrini.
No, it couldn't be that.
Not a chance.
Do I take away points for a wrong answer?
No, don't take away points for those guesses.
Unless
This is
someone gets
such
it right.
Nobody's gotten it right. Unless
No,
Nick, what
Nobody
is
else
it?
chimed in. Yeah.
I was gonna guess Catherine of Siena, not gonna lie, but I think
So that's what I was going to accept Saint Catherine either one because it's Saint Catherine of Siena or Genoa. Like it's
Genoa is the
technically
one that-
Genoa.
Oh,
It's technically Saint Catherine of Genoa, but I would think Saint Catherine of Siena. Mussolini. Let me tell you something. It's not an Italian alive who
That's
wouldn't say
hilarious.
something good about Mussolini. All right, next question. What are the 4 different names for the Sunday following Easter?
The 4 different names. you said?
4 different names for the Sunday following Easter.
24th in ordinary.
Yeah, anybody that said St. Catherine of Siena, I think should get the point.
Is
What are
this
the
like
what
a-
are the 4 Sundays after what?
No, the 4 names for
4
the
names of the-
Sunday after Easter.
Is this like a Nova Sardo
okay.
thing or a,
It's in both.
oh, it is.
It's in the traditional mass, I think there's 2 or 3, and then there's one St. John Paul II named it the feast day.
Luminous Mystery Sunday.
Do we get any points if we just get a few of them?
I know
I'll
like
go
2
for
of
a
them.
point for each correct
Okay.
answer of the 4.
You get 4 points, and somebody can
This
be
is
back
a
in the game.
4-point question. You get back in the game right now.
I really don't know why I spend so much work keeping score when it doesn't matter.
I'm
On the
keeping
chat?
score.
No, I want to know who
Because
who the top are in the chat, Rob.
Anthony's going to tell you to pick, Rob. You're going to pick, and he's going to say, "No, forget that." He's going to pull an alpha move just to show you he's the boss, and he's going to pick somebody like he does
Yeah,
every time.
Every time.
You guys ruined the joke. I don't understand why you do this.
No, it actually makes it funnier.
There's new people here that think they might win.
I think it's
I wanna
funnier
rob
when
them of their joy.
when it actually happens.
Rob
And-
is not here for your enjoyment. Okay, He's a
No,
human
all of
being.
my work is to help crush people more
I
drastically in the end.
I want to ruin somebody's night. I want to get their hopes up and ruin it. All right.
Well, there's 214 people watching now, so that's a lot of nights ruined.
That's Bonini Sunday.
So true.
Oh,
All right, which one of you guys are in?
Sam.
Sam.
All right, so we've got Quasimodo Sunday, Low
Correct.
Sunday,
Correct.
Divine Mercy Sunday, and
Correct.
Dominican Albis / White Sunday.
That is correct, man. You guys, I don't know.
Game is over.
Always
Sam
somewhere.
wins.
that
And
was
there's some Eastern Christians also call it Thomas Sunday.
that was
Yom Kippur, Hanukkah, Passover, and Purim.
this is Depression Tuesday.
I'm
We
telling you,
got a
every
weirdo in the
time
chat.
there's a joke about Jews on here, my internet gets worse. I'm not even joking.
Don't check your pager.
I'm
Trans rights.
That's what they mean when they
Medicaid.
Jack.
Pride Sunday. No, they already said Divine Mercy Sunday.
Guys, these feasts will be coming up very soon because all religions lead to God.
What does that even mean? Exactly.
All right. Let's see. This is a good question, and this is one everybody should know. What's the name of the first priest mentioned in Scripture? Name of the first priest mentioned in Scripture. Oh, man, that's
For
a
all
trick
the
question.
modernists,
actually
no,
name
it's not Mary
priest
Magdalene.
or
That's a trick question, man.
it is because there's a couple ways you could go with this.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
couple ways you could go with this. It's a,
But I'm gonna go-
I have a very specific person I'm looking
Yeah.
for, but
Yeah, I think I know who you're looking for, but it could go a different way.
I'll give a second point for
First
the other
person
way.
who is labeled a priest.
Yeah, labeled.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mentioned as
Labeled,
a-
yeah.
labeled as a priest. All right, which one of you guys got
Yeah,
it?
I think I know who you're looking for.
Yeah. Let's see.
It was me.
Who's in first?
Jason would be first. Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, Melchizedek.
That's correct. And who'd you think I was going? Who'd you think I meant?
Well, you could say Adam.
Yeah.
You
All right,
know.
so give Jason 2 points, Rob.
I can give him 2 points. I got
Thanks,
you.
Nick. Because
Or Nick.
I'm trying to be a nice guy on this show.
All right, so now those are all my questions, but we're moving pretty quick. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pop over to this quiz that I found online.
I was wondering what that link was for.
Okay, so this is an interesting one. I don't think anybody's going to get it though.
Ooh. Okay.
What two symbolic
You underestimate
pieces,
Sam.
what two symbolic pieces of heraldic regalia are found in all basilicas?
I don't even know what
Oh.
that means.
Heraldry, like on the coat of arms and stuff.
2?
There's two pieces of heraldic regalia found in every basilica. I don't think anybody's getting this one.
Oh,
Oh, say
I can't.
Sam's
Sam.
are
I couldn't.
Just ask Sam.
I couldn't even pronounce the word if I read it.
I mean, some people in the chat got it, which is crazy to me.
I may get this wrong.
Oh, I know what one of them is.
All right, who's got it?
Bring it in.
Sam is a.
All right. So in every basilica, you've got the umbrellino, where it's like the red and yellow umbrella thing, and then is the other one the galero, the bishop's long hat?
That's not what it says here. No,
Do you give him a half point?
it's everybody's just going with
Guys, this show will be banned.
it.
this channel will be banned.
Does anybody know the second? So the second is a bell. It's
bell.
umbrella and a bell. So I thought that was interesting. I did not know that.
Interesting.
Good to know.
Do I give Sam a half point?
Oh, this is. Oh man, I don't know how anybody's gonna know that either.
Just ask him.
I can make up some Thomas questions if you absolutely need it.
This is an interesting one. We're going like deep into like minutia trivia here, but during the singing of the Exultet at the Easter Vigil, what insect is extolled?
This game is over, y'all. This game is over.
Why not? I'll take a shot at it. I don't even know.
That's actually pretty easy though. When you once you hear it, you can be like, oh, I should have known that. All right, a lot of
I'll
people
take a
got
guess
it.
at it.
All right, go ahead, Jake.
I'll say an ant.
No, incorrect.
Sam would be up next.
Jason,
Mother bees.
what
It is
do
bees,
ants do
correct.
that we use?
They're workers. They give a good example of working.
That's a Protestant
That's for
answer.
Protestantism.
Yeah,
That was a Sunday school song about like ants. Watch the ants, how they work and toil.
Was that
I
was that
should have-
Catholic Sunday school?
No, of course it
Exactly.
wasn't Catholic. Catholics didn't read the Bible.
I should have actually thrown in a few avoiding Babylon trivia questions. Like who was
Who's the catacon?
yeah, like things like that, like inside baseball
That's George Floyd.
jokes.
I got it. Catacon. I got it.
Okay, next one we got. Oh, this is good. A priest with OAR for a suffix belongs to which religious order? That's crazy. I don't know if anybody's getting that.
yeah. Good
What-
luck with that one.
What was the
Nah, nobody's getting that. No way.
what was the suffix?
OAR.
OAR.
Oh, okay.
We got a couple. They are getting part of it, which is enough, I think.
Because they're Googling it.
Yeah, people are Googling.
I'll take a
Oh,
guess.
oh, I don't know if this is going to show up, but someone said the Order of Ancient Retards.
I like it.
All right, Rick, Jason, go ahead.
The Catholic religion.
It's a good thing.
What?
It's a good thing you actually had no idea because Rob once again blew the answer.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I
You
thought,
can't
oh,
read.
there you go.
Oh, the Order of Anthony and Rob. OAR.
No,
What-
I'm pretty sure those are synonyms.
Wait,
for the
Sam
previous
put
one.
his name in there. Did you
Sam
already see
did,
the
yeah.
answer?
I was gonna guess Augustinians of some kind, but it's a guess.
So what was the answer?
Order of
But you didn't see-
Augustinian.
No, I didn't see it. Otherwise, I'd have said it, Connor.
Recollects.
I don't have
Order
Okay.
of Augustinian. Records.
How about this? The miraculous medal was manifested to which saint?
That one's kind of easy, guys. Come on.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's actually easy.
That's easy.
That one is easy.
Put
I'm
your name
actually
in.
okay. I can answer. That's easy.
Yeah, I mean the score is over. Sam won. So
Yeah,
if anyone else wants to
I
jump in.
You want me to answer it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Saint Catherine Lebarot.
That is correct. Good job,
Lebado.
Rob. You
She's
got the chat, right?
she's the last day in the liturgical calendar. Actually, last day.
Okay, who was the second apostle to Germany? The first being Saint Boniface.
Benedict the 16th.
Martin Luther.
Oh,
Amen, brother. Amen.
Second.
This is a hard one.
I
Aaron,
really
just
care about
gotta
the
go by
Germans that
Protestant
much.
bonus points.
I need to think of German names now.
Mustache man.
Martin Luther.
It is not a German name.
It's not.
No,
oh.
it's not. Because he's the apostle to Germany. So
Well, they might use the name.
it's
I'm sure they
it's
use
Saint
it, but-
Peter Canisius. He's a
Yeah,
Jesuit.
yeah, that makes sense
Oh.
because he's the Jesuit.
The
The
Wait,
Jesuit. Yeah.
that doesn't make sense.
So it took like 800 years for somebody to get
No.
Germany.
What it was is after the Reformation. he went in and
Oh.
tried to re-Catholicize Germany.
I thought we were
Yeah.
talking like just he came after Saint Boniface as well.
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
no.
I mean, I wouldn't
Okay.
have got it either way, but
That's
it's not bad.
Jason's being very humble, y'all, in this game. He would have destroyed everything if he was not having internet problems.
because of
No,
the
no.
comments.
And in all honesty, yeah, no, I struggle with tonight's questions.
I'm just gonna blame Houston. Houston is the
I
worst.
usually do better with Bible questions than like when you start talking about
Okay,
like
Lazarus.
vestments and
Lazarus.
coat of arms and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not gonna know all that.
Okay, so this question in here has 2 questions in one, but I can think of a third to it.
Oh,
What?
So
great.
what
That's
what 2
lovely.
20th century British authors, both of whom were converts to Catholicism? Oh, he's not a convert. That's why. Were converts to Catholicism, soured on the liturgical changes of the Second Vatican Council.
Wait, so one of
O'Connor
them's
doesn't
not
know.
a
Two
convert.
two British authors were converts to Catholicism,
are
and they were very angry about the liturgical changes of the council.
Bunch of rigid British people.
So I would have said these 2. Well, Chesterton.
You're all
Died.
getting it wrong.
He died in the 30s.
He
Yeah,
died. He
way
would have
before.
been. That's just a, that's like a. That's
Well,
like a
that's still
assumption.
20th century, right? Yeah, he
No,
died
but we're
before the
talking
council,
about
though.
the liturgical
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah. So Tolkien also isn't a convert. So Tolkien
Yes,
is
he was.
notorious. Tolkien's
Was
a
it? Was
convert?
it?
He was a convert. He
Was he?
converted when he was like
Chalk
8.
one up to the converts, baby.
Tolkien was not a cradle Catholic.
He was not. He was his mom converted, and she converted everybody else.
Do not question
So-
Connor on this subject.
So then there should have been a third.
No,
in this answer.
no. His mom. So when was he born?
He was born. What I think.
So he was born in
pre-
1892. His
Yeah.
mom converted in 1900.
Yeah.
So he was
8.
still raised Catholic.
No, he wasn't.
8
Yeah, he
years
was.
old. That's when you make your communion.
Okay, but that's not cradle.
He was a cradle Catholic. Stop your nonsense. I'm not giving.
It
this to
says
the
right here
convert.
that he was raised in the church by his mother.
Yeah, after
Connor,
at the age 8.
you don't convert at 8 years old. That's a cradle Catholic.
What is a cradle?
Cradle is you're raised in the faith.
But
No,
hey,
cradle
no,
is-
Connor's right. Tolkien was baptized in the Anglican Church.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that a valid
it's over.
baptism?
it's a valid
Nope,
baptism.
nope,
Is that a
don't
valid
go down that
baptism?
road. Don't go down that road. Don't
No,
go down that road.
no. We're playing back in
He's
2
not a
rules here.
Catholic.
Was that a valid
He was-
baptism? And where did he make his
Go down
first
that road.
communion?
Listen,
Where
it
did-
says
how
after
about
his
this?
father's death and his mother's Tiber crossing, he was confirmed as a Catholic at the age of 11.
There you go.
Mm,
That's a
No,
cradle
Connor-
Catholic, bro.
Connor's
You
right.
proved Connor right.
Connor is right.
That's
It doesn't
That is
even
a
make
cradle
sense,
Catholic.
Anthony.
He did not
Wait a
make the
minute.
decision to convert.
If you have
His
a
mother
valid
did.
baptism,
He did
you were
not make the decision
rebaptized.
to convert.
So
He was
confirmation
raised a Catholic.
isn't somebody else, the person's decision.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Are you
Ed-
telling
Connor is
me?
right.
I'm pretty sure confirmation is supposed to be the person's.
It is.
decision
Connor's
to-
right. Like if you have
Stop
older
all
kids,
of
Yeah, but
Rob,
at 11,
Rob,
they have
Rob, find
you
out.
can't force
where
them to be baptized or
Jason,
confirmed.
I'm going to mute you. Where did Tolkien make his first communion?
I'm not looking that up.
Why?
Why would I?
You can't
Look
mute
up
me. I just
where
said
did
mute him.
Tolkien make his first communion.
I also muted Jason and Connor.
Look up where Tolkien made his first communion. Because if he made his first communion in a Catholic church, he's a cradle Catholic. And I'm sticking by it.
No, he's not. Everybody makes their first communion in the Catholic Church.
That's true. Literally, we all did.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
on Christmas of 1903, Tolkien received his first communion in the Birmingham Oratory
Which is
from Father Francis Morgan.
Which
It's a
proves
Catholic church.
nothing as far as cradle
Yeah,
versus
that literally
That
proves
doesn't
nothing.
prove that he's
Connor-
not a convert. Everybody receives their first communion in the Catholic Church. That's what first communion is.
Unless you want him to
Guys,
be-
he wasn't one of the 2 answers given. It doesn't matter.
no, it doesn't matter because I'm not giving
does.
Tolkien as a convert.
Tolkien-
These
Right.
convert
Tolkien's his
savages.
own,
It's
sir.
It
not
only matters
happening.
if they can get one of the other
Fine.
authors.
Am
All
I
right.
able to
It was
answer
Tolkien and
now?
who?
Am I able to answer now?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it Graham Greene and Evelyn Waugh?
you
It
looked
is
that up, didn't you?
absolutely.
I
but
did
you
not. No, I know Graham Greene and
I
Evelyn
knew
Waugh is
Connor
one of
would
my
get this
favorite
one.
writers.
You are losing a point for trying to tell me that Tolkien's a convert.
He's a convert.
He
He's
is
not a convert.
no. I'm gonna give him.
Refuse
I'm
to
gonna give
accept
him
that
2
he's
points.
not a convert. No
I'm giving
convert can ever
Connor
come up
2
with something
points.
as glorious as the Lord of the Rings.
He's a convert. He just wasn't very a Protestant
No,
very
no.
long.
Cradles give us the Novus Ordo. That's the kind of greatness they give us. Converts.
Exactly.
I get that it's not really like a large conversion, but it's still a
Connor is objectively right.
how
he was
could you
baptized
betray-
in a non-Catholic sect. He is completely correct.
What has objectivity?
Connor, I'm so mad
his
at
like
you.
grandparents were like Unitarians,
Great.
And
I'm
at,
so mad at you, Connor.
and at
You're
the
a
age
cradle
of
Catholic,
11,
Connor.
and at the age of 11, you have to still go through formation in order to be confirmed. So it's just like, you know, when people go through RCIA today.
Exactly. Connor, I'm going to give Connor 2 points. One for the harassment, one for getting the
Give
question
him
right.
10.
Actually, wouldn't it? Don't I get 2
Here's what
points
my
for the-
problem. Here's what my problem is with this whole thing. This isn't actually about reality. It's about not letting Jason take the credit for being a convert and Tolkien being a convert. I don't care if he's really a convert. He's supposed to be on my side here. You're a cradle Catholic.
But Tolkien is my favorite writer, so
You used to be my favorite cradle Catholic. All right. Let's see what else we got here.
Goodness
I think it's funny though that Rob accused me of looking up Graham Greene.
Connor, I knew you would get that answer.
Yeah, Connor would never cheat.
I'm
That's
the guy
right
who
down
interviews
your alley.
Joseph
Connor would never
Pierce, like like twice or
Oh,
3 times a
Joseph
year.
Pierce is going to be in Houston this weekend.
Oh, good.
Giving
Say
a
hi.
talk.
So he won't have internet either.
I guess I shouldn't invite him on for that time.
Yeah,
But I
going with
got to go, guys.
All right, Jason, adios. I'm going with this.
All right,
Tolkien
thanks.
is a cradle convert.
Cradle convert.
I-
Or is he
It's a
convert
cradle,
cradle?
I'm going to give Jason's 3 points to Connor.
Also,
harassment.
I totally get Anthony's argument, just so you know. Like I'm sympathetic to it. I just can't go along with
Yeah,
it.
No,
well,
I
I-
love arguing with Anthony too. I get it.
Well, the thing is, I
like
I
arguing.
understand both sides of that argument, but I would say he was raised a Catholic. He's not a cradle Catholic because he wasn't baptized as an infant as a Catholic, and that term specifically means you're baptized as an infant. But he's not technically a cradle because he came to the realization that Catholicism is true. His mother raised him as a Catholic.
To be fair, being raised in like 1890s Anglicanism, it's probably more cradle Catholic than being
Well-
raised in the Novus Ordos today.
Yeah,
Well, that's
yeah,
kind
you're
of what I
right.
was going to make the argument too, that it wasn't. I said it's not much of a jump, though. His grandparents were Unitarians, so it's not. He
Now that's
wasn't. His father died when he was really young, and he was mostly he just had his mother's family,
He
and his mother's
converted on his
family.
11th birthday.
His mother's family were Unitarians, and they cast her out for converting for Catholicism.
Anthony.
You don't deserve that. Listen to me. You got to tell me that's not a fire tweet. I put out the other day, I said, we don't deserve him with a picture of Francis. And just seeing people's different reactions because they don't know if I'm saying, like, we don't deserve him. He's so great, or we don't deserve him.
Everyone took it whatever way they wanted to. It was hilarious.
It was such an interesting thought experiment just to see how people would react to we don't deserve him. I thought. Some people were mad at me. Some people were like, yes, we do deserve him. We're so evil. I'm like, guys, you're missing the whole point of the tweet, apparently.
I love the arguments in the chat over Tolkien. That's great.
All right. So do we want to tally scores? And then we can kind of just talk about whatever. We could go over to locals. That's what we'll do.
I think Anthony's about to find out it doesn't matter who gets the points, it's who counts the points.
All right, so let's see. All right, who won on screen, Rob? Or Nick, you know who won on screen.
On
Obviously
screen,
Sam, right?
Yeah, Sam won. He got 10. Jason got 3, but I added them to Connor, so Connor gets 6. Yeah.
10-6. Adrian didn't get any points in, right?
No, but I got 2.
Someone said, "All right, Connor, hands up."
Oh,
that's funny.
No,
freaking hope Rob doesn't deserve Anthony. No, he certainly does not.
Yeah, that's funny.
Okay, so what do we got in the chat, Rob?
Hold on.
Who are my top 3 in the chat?
Was Boromir a cradle?
Was Boromir cradle Catholic? No, Denethor was though. Denethor was.
Wait, why would Denethor be?
Because he was bad.
Wait, what? We're now putting it into good versus bad.
Yes, Sauron was probably a lapsed Catholic, and
Sauron was definitely a cradle Catholic because angels.
Aaron, would you actually wear that Mary shirt? That's something I'd be into because Aaron is a Protestant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Sauron was a cradle Catholic.
Well, he was a cradle Catholic.
Sauron was a cradle Catholic,
but so was Gandalf.
No, Gandalf was a convert, clearly.
No, Gandalf was.
No, he was. He was clearly a convert.
You're telling me angels
Yeah, I'm telling you.
aren't created into
I'm
belief?
telling you.
Okay.
Yes.
See, Connor, this is what you start by giving them Tolkien. Gave them Tolkien, and now we lost every argument.
I won't
Now
give them Gandalf.
now all the orcs are cradle Catholics, and the freaking hobbits are converts. Do you see what you did to us? I tried to warn you of what you were setting up. The freaking orcs. Now we get the orcs.
Is Fernandez Gollum? I guess that's my question.
Oh my word.
Worm tongue.
What?
He's worm tongue. That makes sense. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Fernandez is one.
That's
Okay.
actually funny. Saruman was a Nova Soto pitch.
So true.
Okay,
Well,
we're
to
gonna
be
have an
honest-
issue here.
Why?
We have one person that clearly won
Okay.
with eight correct answers.
Who's
Has he
that?
won before?
Timothy.
Now, has Timothy won before?
This was 18 months ago. How would I know?
Well, Timothy will tell us. Timothy, have you ever received the prize?
Say no,
from
Timothy.
us?
Say no.
Timothy, let us know if you've ever received the prize. Who we got for second, Rob?
We have that's the problem. We have a lot of people tied. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people tied for second with 4
Okay.
correct answers.
Oh,
We have
there
Amy.
are some elves that are lapsed.
See,
Catholics.
Timothy's won. I've sent Timothy a
Yeah, they call
prize.
the
I'm
orc
not
guy.
giving Timothy another
Okay.
prize. Timothy automatically gets out. So who we got for second, Rob?
We have Amy. We have Brandon, who has been on
Brandon's
the
not
show.
getting a prize. Brandon's out.
We have Charles Xavier.
Okay.
We have Jared with some unpronounceable Irish last name, and we have discount Jimmy Aiken.
Someone says
Now, Jimmy
Elrond
Aiken's
is-
out. Okay, so we only have 2 there.
So we have Jared, Padraig, and Amy.
You got 3.
Okay, so between Jared and Amy, and now who's got third place?
Let me count. Living Catholic Life.
Okay. Let me look through here now. Hang on. Let's see.
And that is counting funny answers too.
Okay, let's see. Brandon's out. Those people who Rob just named, put yourselves in the chat. Like, I want to see that you're still here. Like throw, do some bragging rights here. All right, so Jared's still here.
You could give a final question to those guys, like specifically.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, just to them.
Let's make sure
Amy's still here.
Amy is still here. And
Living Catholic Life is still here.
is still here. Okay, so this question is going out to the 3 of you. Now, whichever one of you get it first will win the prize. Now, the thing is, we actually are giving a good prize. So we used to, I used to send out Humility of Heart, which was a really good book. It's like a really good book.
That's a good book.
So, all right, so the 3 of you that are here, you guys will get to choose. Whoever wins gets to choose which Avoiding Babylon shirt you want sent to you. I'm going to assume they want the Mary as Personal Mother and Intercessor shirt because I freaking love wearing that shirt. It is such a fun shirt to wear out, and people do stare at you.
Raphael is literally trying to bribe us
Okay.
with passive bribes.
Okay. Let's see. Ooh, that's a good one. Oh man. And these are the best of the best. So I have a feeling. All right. Okay, this is a good one, actually. In the West, what are the names of the Magi? Traditionally, like the Magi, the 3 Magi that come, what are their names? That's a good question. It's answerable. You know, typical Catholics will get that. So let's see. Yeah, and Michael, this is a great point. So like any of you that had a fun time tonight, like go out and buy the shirt. It's a great way to support the show. Or throw a super chat in, or I mean, we had a fun time tonight. And then if you can't do any of those,
Amy wins.
Okay, Amy.
No, that's the winner right there.
Amy.
Because one of those three is actually black. Of those,
Okay,
of those-
Amy.
Oh.
Amy won, but we're gonna send Cat Named Mouse the shirt. No, I'm gonna send it to Amy. Amy, you did awesome. We're gonna give it to you.
Amy, email me at this email address, team@avoidingbabylon.com with your address, and I'll get it mailed out to you.
And Cat Named Mouse, if you DM me, I will send you a prize. DM me on Twitter. And I will send you a prize because that was hilarious.
If people got the joke. They got the joke.
Yes. Yes. All right. So Amy, you are declared winner. Man, all three of them freaking what was it, Patrick?
Jared Padraig.
Padraig. He did good tonight, man. He really did deserve to win, but I can't just be sending free shirts to everybody.
You mean Timothy, who got 8? Is that who you meant?
Yeah, but he's won.
Okay.
Yeah, Timothy's won, but Jared was in there all night too.
Margo, did you really?
It did take me a long time to get it, but if you ordered it, you should get it.
Margo, message me on Telegram or Twitter, and I'll double check it. I'll look into that, see if I can look into that for you.
Yeah, if any of you guys have any issues with stuff you've ordered from us, bother Rob. Get on him.
That has been our
right.
relationship for 2.5 years.
We don't deserve them.
Listen, we both have our fair share of duties to the show, believe me. If you had any idea what the two of us have to deal with behind the scenes. I think we are going to head over to Locals and just hang out over there a little bit, and we'll talk amongst our real people and see what you guys thought of trivia tonight, if everybody had fun. We do have an interesting story to cover. We could discuss the synod on synodality and the new sins that the Vatican released. But actually, I'd like to get to meet Sam and Adrian a little bit too. So we're going to head over to Locals. Guys, if you did enjoy this show, if you watch it on repeat and reruns later, throw us a super sticker or something, man, because this is, we're not going to get many views on this. This is like one of those things where you get live audience participation. I can't imagine people are going to watch a rerun of trivia. I don't think those shows ever did that great. So, Nick, you got anything to promote?
Nah, just be charitable, be nuanced, and subscribe to the show.
I see your video the other day got more views than anything we've done recently.
Yeah, 16,000. Thanks everyone for the support. I appreciate it.
How about you, Connor? You got anything to promote?
Nothing really, no.
No new podcasts?
No, nothing new. Just could use some prayers. I've got some interviews. I'd like them to go well. Job interviews, not podcasts.
Okay, excellent. Sam or Adrian, you guys are just dudes, right?
Yeah, nothing to promote.
All right. All right. We're going to head over to Locals. You guys just stay where you are, and we're going to interview these two awesome, loyal fans that have come to join us tonight and lent us their time tonight. So thank you, Cigar Mode. Thank you, everybody that joined us. Amy, we will get you your shirt. And Cat Named Mouse, shoot me a DM on Twitter, and we'll get you something too.